Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, today the Church invites us to contemplate the exemplary life of Saint Eucherius, Bishop of Orleans and champion of the Church's rights, whose memory we celebrate on the 20th of February. His story is a living testimony to divine grace and the transformative power of God's love. I'm John Peter, and welcome to Faith Chronicles, a Catholic channel where we explore the inspiring lives of saints who intercede for us before God. Saint Eucherius, a testimony of dedication, courage, and contemplative spirit. Born into a noble family in Orleans, France, Saint Eucherius's life was marked by dedication to God from the very beginning. His parents, recognizing the divine spark within their child, consecrated him to the Lord at birth and began his education at the tender age of 7. This early formation laid the foundation for a life of extraordinary virtue and wisdom. As young Eucherius delved into his studies, he showed a particular affinity for the sacred scriptures. The words of St. Paul resonated deeply within his heart, especially those that spoke of the transient nature of worldly pleasures. Paul's teachings that earthly enjoyments are mere empty shadows that deceive us and vanish away became a guiding principle for Eucherius. This profound realization led to a pivotal moment in Eucherius's life. In the year 714, he made the courageous decision to leave behind the comforts and privileges of his noble birth. Seeking a life of deeper communion with God, he retreated to the Abbey of Jumièges in Normandy. For 6 or 7 years, Eucherius immersed himself in a life of penitential austerities and obedience, honing his spirit through prayer and contemplation. However, God had greater plans for his faithful servant. In 721, following the death of his uncle Suaveric, the Bishop of Orleans, the clergy and people of the city unanimously called for Eucherius to assume the vacant see. Despite his reluctance to leave his monastic life, Eucherius humbly accepted this new calling, recognizing it as God's will. As Bishop of Orleans, Eucherius faced significant challenges, particularly in defending the rights of the Church. During this time, Charles Martel, the de facto ruler of the Frankish kingdoms, often appropriated church property to fund his military campaigns. Eucherius, filled with zeal for God's house, courageously stood against these encroachments. His unwavering stance, however, came at a great personal cost. In 737, Charles Martel, angered by Eucherius's opposition, banished him to Cologne. Yet, even in exile, Eucherius's virtuous life continued to shine brightly, earning him the admiration of those around him. Moved by the esteem Eucherius garnered in Cologne, Charles Martel ordered him to be transferred to a fortress in the territory of Liège. It was here that God's providence truly manifested. Robert, the governor of the region, was so impressed by Eucherius's holiness that he entrusted him with the distribution of his alms. Furthermore, he permitted Eucherius to retire to the monastery of Sarcinium, also known as St. Trans. In this peaceful sanctuary, Eucherius devoted himself entirely to prayer and contemplation. It was here, immersed in the presence of God, that he spent his final years until his death on the 20th of February, 743. The life of Saint Eucherius beautifully illustrates the words of the prophet Hosea, which tell us, "I will lead her into solitude, and I will speak to her heart." Through his dedication to prayer and his courage in facing adversity, Eucherius shows us the transformative power of listening to God's voice in the silence of our hearts. Brothers and sisters, let us meditate on this question. In our busy lives, how can we create spaces of solitude to hear God's voice more clearly? Dear friends in Christ, I hope that Saint Eucherius's story has touched your hearts and strengthened your faith. If you were inspired by this narrative, I invite you to become part of our Faith Chronicles community. Like this video to help us reach more people with these inspiring stories. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any episode of our Chronicles of Faith. Comment below sharing how Saint Eucherius's life impacted you, or which saint you'd like to see in our next video. Share this video with friends and family who may benefit from this message of faith and courage. Remember, every saint has a story, and their stories come with the grace and power to work miracles in our lives. Together, we can keep the flame of faith alive and inspire one another in our pilgrimage towards heavenly triumph. Until the next episode of Faith Chronicles, may God bless you abundantly.